Welcome to Chapter 5, Section 3. In this section, we'll be covering authorship markup and how to implement Google's authorship markup on your site, a Panda update, and a summary of what happened with this Google Panda algorithm update, and a Hummingbird update, as well as we'll be going over Penguin on top of that. So let's get started. What you need to know is that Google needs to complete a circuit of verified trust between it and an author's published content. For you to participate in this program, you'll need to have two things: a verified digital identity owned by Google that links to your published content, which is a Google Plus profile, and your published content that needs to reference you as the author and link back to the verified digital identity. As of this particular course, Google supports three methods of verifying that trust. The methods approved by Google include a 3-link, a 2-link, and an email verification method. So let's define these methods. The 3-link method is used with sites that host content pages that link to an author biography page on the same domain. All of the content pages link to the author biography page. The author biography page links to the author's Google Plus profile, and the Google Plus profile links to the author's biography page as shown below. The 2-link method is for content pages that do not link to an author biography page. Instead, they typically contain a mini author biography snippet at the bottom of each post. These posts directly link to the author's Google Plus profile, and the Google Plus profile links to the home page of the publishing site. And the email verification method is a method that can be used when the author does not have control over author biography content anywhere in the content page, but its use is not limited to that scenario. In that case, an author byline links to an email address using the same domain name as the content page, and that email address is registered and verified in the author's Google Plus profile. The above set of descriptions are kind of all high-level overviews. There's many details that must also be addressed, but as you can see, all three methods share the same requirement: a verified digital identity in the form of an author Google Plus profile. Let's first cover how to set up the author's profile on Google Plus for authorship markup. So if you have an existing Google account, which is Gmail, Google Docs, Google Webmaster Tools, etc., then you already have at least a stub Google Plus profile. Perhaps yours is already somewhat filled out, but Google Authorship Markup mandates specific data requirements in that profile. So let's get it set up right. Go over to profiles.google.com. Sign into your Google account or create one if you need to. When prompted, upload a clear facial headshot photo to the profile. No abstract art, no cartoons, etc. Then click Continue until Finish appears. Then click Finish. Click Continue to Google+. Click Profile and then click Edit Profile. Select +1. Click +1. Select the Show This tab on your profile checkbox. Then click. You can click About, click Other Profiles, click Add Custom Link, and then add labels and URLs to each of your other social media account profiles, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Quora, etc. And when you're done, go ahead and click Save. So that brings us to Google Panda. Let's go over that really quickly. Google Panda is a change to Google's search results ranking algorithm that was first released in February of 2011. The change is aimed to lower the rank of low-quality sites or thin sites and return higher quality sites near the top of the search results. CNET reported a surge in the rankings of news websites and social networking sites, as well as a drop in rankings for sites containing large amounts of advertising. This change reportedly affected the rankings of almost 12% of all search results, so it was pretty substantial. Soon after the Panda rollout, many websites, including Google's Webmaster Forum, became filled with complaints of scrapers and copyright infringers getting better rankings than sites with original content. At one point, Google publicly asked for data points to help detect scrapers better. Google's Panda has received several updates since the original rollout in February of 2011, and the effect went global in April 2011. To help affected publishers, Google provided an advisory on its blog, thus giving some direction for self-evaluation of a website's quality. Google has provided a list of 23 bullet points on its blog answering the question of what counts as a high-quality site. That is supposed to help webmasters step into Google's mindset. So Panda is a filter that prevents low-quality sites and or pages from ranking well in the search engine results page. The filter's threshold is influenced by Google's quality raters. Quality raters answer questions such as, would I trust this site with my credit card? So that Google can distinguish the difference between high and low-quality sites. The patent for Panda was filed on September 28, 2012, was granted on March 25, 2014. The patent states that Google Panda creates a ratio with sites inbound links and references search queries for the site's brand. That ratio is then used to create a site-wide modification factor, and that is then used to create a modification factor for a page based on a search query. If the page fails to meet a certain threshold, the modification factor is applied, and therefore the page would rank lower in the search engine results page. Google Panda affects the ranking of an entire site or a specific section rather than just individual pages. In 2012, March specifically, Google updated Panda, and it says that it only takes a few pages of poor quality or duplicated content to hold down traffic on an otherwise solid site, and recommends such pages be removed, blocked from being indexed by the search engine, or completely rewritten. However, Matt Cutts, head of website of Google, warns that rewriting duplicate content so that it is original may not be enough to recover from Panda. The rewrites must be of sufficiently high quality, as such content brings additional value to the web. Content that is general, non-specific, and not substantially different from what is already out there should not be expected to rank well. Those other sites are not bringing additional value. While they're not duplicates, they bring nothing new to the table, and that's not viewed favorably with Google. So that brings us to Penguin. Let's talk a little bit about Google Penguin. That's the code name for a Google algorithm update that was first announced on April 24, 2012. The update is aimed at decreasing search engine rankings of websites that violate Google Webmaster Guidelines by using now declared black hat SEO techniques involved in increasing artificially the ranking of a web page by manipulating the number of links pointing to the page. So bad inbound links, essentially. Such tactics are commonly described as link schemes. According to Google's John Mueller, Google has announced all updates to the Penguin filter to the public. By Google's estimates, Penguin affects roughly 3.1% of search queries in English, about 3% of queries in languages like German, Chinese, and Arabic, and an even bigger percentage of them in highly spammed languages. On May 25th, 2012, Google unveiled another Penguin update. This was Penguin 1.1. This update, according to Matt Cutts, was supposed to affect less than 0.1% in English searches. The guiding principle for the update was to penalize websites using manipulative techniques to achieve high rankings. The purpose per Google was to catch excessive spammers. Allegedly, a few websites lost search rankings on Google for specific keywords during the Panda and Penguin rollouts. Google specifically mentions that the doorway pages, which are only built to attract search engine traffic, are against their webmaster guidelines. January 2012, the so-called page layout algorithm update, which is also known as the Top Heavy update, was released, which targeted websites with too many ads or too little content above the fold. Penguin 3 was released October 5th, 2012. That affected 0.3% of queries. Penguin 4 came out on May 22nd, 2013 and affected 2.3% of queries. That brought us to Penguin 5, which was released on October 4th, 2013 and affected about 1%. There is a Penguin 3.0 that is rumored to have been released on October 18th, and Google's Pierre Farr has confirmed that this was an algorithm refresh with no new signals added, really. The strategic goal that Panda, Penguin, and the page layout update share is to display higher quality websites at the top of Google SERPs. However, sites that were downranked as a result of these updates have a different set of characteristics. The main target of Google's Penguin is spamdexing, which includes link bombing. So that fast forward to Google's Hummingbird, which started at about August 30th, 2013. Google announced the change on September 26th on the eve of the company's 15th anniversary. Gianluca Fiorelli said that Hummingbird is about synonyms, but also it's about context. Google always had synonyms, he writes, but with Hummingbird, it's also able to judge context, thereby judging the intent of a person carrying out a search to determine exactly what they're trying to find out. Danny Sullivan said of Hummingbird, said that Hummingbird is paying more attention to each word in a query, ensuring that the whole query, the whole sentence or conversation or meaning is taken into account. Michelle Hill said that Hummingbird is about understanding intent. Steve Masters wrote, the Hummingbird approach should be inspirational to anyone managing and planning content. If you aren't already thinking like Hummingbird, you should be. In a nutshell, think about why strategies should be designed to answer their needs, not just provide them with facts. This ushered in the age of semantic search. The Hummingbird update was the first major update to Google's search algorithm since the 2010 caffeine update, if you remember that. But even that was limited primarily to improving the indexing of information rather than the sorting of information. Google search chief Amit Singhal stated that Hummingbird is the first major update of its type since 2001, so it's pretty substantial. Conversational search leverages natural language, semantic search, and more to improve the way that search queries are parsed. And unlike previous search algorithms, which focus on each individual word in the search query, Hummingbird considers each word, but also how each word makes up the entirety of the query. The whole sentence or conversation or meaning is taken into account rather than particular words. The goal is that pages matching the meaning do better rather than pages matching just a few words. Much like an extension of Google's knowledge graph, Hummingbird is aimed at making interactions more human, capable of understanding the concepts and relationships between keywords. Hummingbird places greater emphasis on page content, making search results more relevant and pertinent and ensuring that Google delivers users to the most appropriate page of a site rather than to a home page or a top-level page. Search engine optimization received very little changes with the addition of Hummingbird, though the more top-ranking ones are the ones that provide natural content that reads conversationally. While keywords within the query still continue to be important, Hummingbird adds more strength to long-tail keywords, effectively catering to the optimization of content rather than just keywords. Webmasters will now have to cater towards queries that are asked naturally, with the growing number of conversational queries, namely those using voice search, targeting phrases that start with who, why, where, and how, will prove beneficial to SEO. The use of keyword synonyms have also been optimized with Hummingbird. Instead of listing results with exact phrases or keywords, Google shows more theme-related results. And that's pretty much it for Chapter 5, Section 3. Next up in Section 4, we will cover why to pick a .com, secure search, aka not provided, which is a quick summary of Google's not provided update, schema markup, a background on schema.org and the general schema markup, and tools and services that I personally use that are important when doing SEO. Thank you.